So, how important to your business is a comprehensive reinsurance, life insurance, document management system? So, all of those things being put, having used it, having all of those things in one place. How important to the business has that
Crucial,
been?
crucial. Must have.
Hmm.
One of the largest expenses in an operation is IT costs,
Hmm.
and if you do it wrong, you could listen. There's always a more expensive product out there, and people can sell you the more
Hmm.
expensive route. Uh, Using, for example, what I know about the back end of this,
Hmm.
it's a SQL Server.
Right.
You can go and buy and I keep forgetting the name of it, but it's a big database
Sure.
manager, but it's a really expensive
Hmm.
database manager. And when we used to acquire companies, we'd go in there and it would have this expensive database manager.
Hmm.
You know, the guys who do the migration put it onto their system, P1 system, and saved, like, it was really serious money. It was maybe a couple of hundred grand
Right.
for a database manager, where SQL Server is free. So that's just one element of the cost.
Big jump.
Yeah, big jump.
Big jump.
And then the migration from whatever they were using, it didn't matter what they were using. I mean, you got a list of them all here,
Hmm.
but whatever one we were taking from to here, it was a fraction of the cost of what they had experienced before.
Absolutely.
And we had loads of situations where they'd spend millions, literally millions, on the migration. So
That's awesome.
it's a huge cost, and a lot of companies don't understand it, because the guys at the top very seldom are IT guys.
Sure.
They're accountants, they're lawyers, they're whatever, but they're never IT guys. So when
Hmm.
the IT guy comes in and says, "We need to buy this, $2 million package, otherwise the world's going to end," what's the CEO going to do? He's going to say, "Sure,
Hmm.
got to go buy it." This is a fraction of the cost. You had somebody in an accounting department who tried to put up that excuse
Hmm.
for not doing something that's more efficient and less expensive. Guarantee the CEO or the CFO would weigh in, and kick the living daylights out of whoever put their hand up to say that. But these guys are not. They don't understand IT, and they believe what the CIO tells them. And you're right. IT department is not necessarily aligned with the expense or cost savings
Sure.
in an entity. What they want is the latest and greatest, because
Hmm.
that's what goes on their resumes.
Right.
So if you've got that, you know, misalignment of interest,
Hmm.
that you end up with, expensive systems.
How would you rate P1 in terms of its comprehensiveness?
10. As I said, I've never seen a system that does everything that it
Hmm.
does, from soup to nuts, from policies, contracts, claims, reinsurance, retrocessions, tracking cash, tracking balances, right to annual statement exhibits, such as Schedule Fs and Schedule Ps.
Hmm.
So there's minimal duplicate entry of data, which is a huge thing in any entity that I've seen over the last 30 years. You enter it here, and then you got to go enter it in another one, because the two systems, they call them two systems, they don't talk to each other.
Sure.
We're looking at one at the moment. It's got a claim system, but there's no policy.
Hmm.
So it's that's kind of basic stuff.
Right.
When you have somebody that understands the business, they understand what the final picture is. So
Hmm.
if they look at a system or systems that they're looking to migrate, they'll know exactly the whole cross-referencing, the mapping, the field mapping, because a lot of old systems, they have fields that are, use the word bastardized. An Ed Holland that knows insurance back to front, and that's just an added bonus. You're getting that added bonus for
Hmm. Hmm.
no, because normally speaking, it'll be the guys in house that are asked to do this,
Right.
but they don't know, because they don't know the new system, so they only have half the picture, their own system.
Hmm.
Ed's work with most systems, so
Right.
the whole list of them here.
When you're going through the M&A process, um, how often do you run into a system that will say is kind of Frankenstein together?
Um, all the time.
Hmm.
These companies didn't go bust for no reason, or they didn't have problems because of no reason. most of the time it's because they don't have data. And the reason they don't have data, and the current one, I can't tell you the name of it, but the current one we're looking at is the exact example of that. And they use in one of these systems.
Mm-hmm.
And they just did a migration. So it's not like this has been hanging around for years. But you should see what they ended up with. And this is a new migration to
Right.
a new system.
Uh-huh.
But it's a piece of crap.
Uh-huh.
And it's one of the problems we're having is they can't provide us with the proper data.
Mm-hmm. Did you find that HMR had the knowledge and experience required for your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been working with the guys for Ed over 35 years and Wayne probably 25 years. So,
Mm-hmm. So deep waters there.
deep, yeah. Wayne, Ed, and Jerry Sauer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. How key to your organization was the fast and accurate data migration and reconciliation from your legacy systems to P1?
Obviously, before you can start, with the whole name of the game in runoff is to mitigate the liabilities or manage the liabilities.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is to manage your recoverables, your assets.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have the data, or if the data is in multiple places, the chance for error, missing reinsurance recoverables, and just not being able to go be in a place like this negotiating across the table with somebody, because you need to have the data before you can do that.
Sure.
If you don't have the data, you're behind the eight ball.
What is the necessity to understand what your position is in terms of liability to a company, and also what their
Right.
position is?
Yeah.
And how do you see the P1 system kind of answering that question of knowing both those sides so that you can make informed decisions
Well,
in that manner?
it captures everything. The data is normalized. You know, a lot of these systems, you'll have the American Centennial Company, American Centennial, ACIC. They'll have about 6 different names for the one company.
Right.
With the P1 system, it's normalized. It's a table driven. So that whole thing cuts across everything. Your policies, your claims, your reinsurance, everything.
How important is the management of documents to runoff business?
Well, they say if you want to collect your balances, you need to be able to provide documentation to your reinsurers or your retrocessionaires.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't collect the documentation and have it in a place where you can easily retrieve it, you're never going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a more the whole efficiency of document comes in and it gets tracked right away.
Mm-hmm.
So you scan it right away, and then it gets sent to the different claims examiners based upon how it's set up in the system. Some of these things, they've got a claim system over here, and then they've got a reinsurance system over here, and they have to take it out of here, and then they've got to do some massaging with it to figure out how the reinsurance works, and then they put the numbers into a new system, and then track that. So with this, it's you can track the whole claim through the reinsurance, and the opening balance, the open balance from your reinsurers.
What percentage of man hours do you believe that P1 could potentially save a client?
It varies so much, but
Sure.
They can go anywhere. 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
So the P1 system would be like 5 times more efficient.
Post migration and conversion to P1, how would you describe the ongoing system support provided by the HMR group?
Yeah, very good, excellent, excellent. Yeah, it's daily.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's whenever you needed it.
Would you recommend HMR and P1 to a business seeking an alternative IT solution?
Absolutely.